serve this up. Look at that. And you got the crust on the top. So you got just enough crust with a lot of good inside. Hey everybody. I guess after Thanksgiving we're all wondering what to do with our leftover turkey. Well, I've got a couple of recipes, but tonight I'm going to show you how to make a turkey pot pie. It's called leftover turkey pot pie. Now, if you're not in Thanksgiving season or where you have cooked turkeys, you can use a rotisserie chicken in place of the turkey and make a chicken pot pie. But tonight we're trying to use up our turkey. So I'm going to cut up carrots, and I'm going to cut up all these vegetables, and then make a roux for the inside of the chicken pot pie. And get going on it. We're going to use carrots and peas and mushrooms and potatoes, a little bit of onion and garlic in our pot pie. So we're getting lots of vegetables. These are pretty thick carrots, so I'll cut them in half, cut them smaller. They're going to cook. All of this is going to cook on top of the stove, so for a little while before it goes in the oven, so they'll have a chance to get tender. I've got about 3 carrots that I'm chopping up here. I'm just trying to cut them into smaller pieces because that was a pretty big carrot. Now I'm cutting up mushrooms. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mushrooms and my carrots and my potatoes in a pan over here, and then I'm going to saute. So I'm going to cut up some onions to saute in butter, and then add all of this to it and let it saute for a little while, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to go ahead and set the oven on 400 so it can be getting hot to put it all in when it's ready. And for the potatoes, I like to use the Yukon potatoes because they're softer and they cook a little better and easier and faster than like the russet potatoes. You could use red potatoes too. Peel a couple of potatoes. Don't think we need a whole lot of potatoes in there, but you want some. And with these Yukon potatoes, the skin is really soft. You really don't even have to peel them. Most of the time with everything I cook with these potatoes, I do not peel them. But for this turkey pot pie, I'm going to go ahead and peel them. And then I've got some small potatoes here too. I'm going to cut up 2 and see if I think that looks like enough. Of course, you do it to your own taste and what you like in it. You can do more potatoes if you want. It's just that it's after eating so much for the holidays. I'm trying to eat less on the starches, and we're going to have potatoes and a pie crust on top. So just the fewer potatoes, I guess, the healthier it kind of is. Okay, so I did 2 small Yukon potatoes, and I'm going to go ahead and salt them so they already have a little salt flavor on them, and pepper, because potatoes kind of absorb the flavors like that, so I like to go ahead and have some seasoning on them. And if you're using red potatoes, it would be kind of like 2 bigger red potatoes or maybe 3 or 4 small red potatoes, very small red potatoes. See, I didn't put that much. That was probably, that's probably 3/4 of a cup to 1/2 a cup of potatoes. So, and now, I'm not going to add the green peas to it yet. Oh, and I have basil. I'm going to go ahead and put in that because this is what's going in our stock to make our broth. So I'm going to go ahead and put these are fresh, and the reason I'm using the fresh basil and the fresh thyme is because I also bought it for cooking over the holidays, and this is actually the last of the basil, which I want to use it while it's all fresh, and it gives everything extra flavor, so I'm just going to add that in. If you don't have, I mean, you can use dried basil. If you don't have basil, don't worry about using it at all. This is thyme, and again, I have it from the holidays, and that's why I'm using it. Probably wouldn't be using it otherwise. I would use dried in here if I had it. Trying to get the little leaves off of here. It just gives this some really good fresh flavor. One other last thing to add to it is celery. All the little crunchies in the chicken pot pie and the flavors make it really good. Plus you're getting a lot of different vegetables. I've got the onions that I'm going to chop these onions up, and then we're going to saute those, and so then we're going to start off working on our sauce. And you got to turn the oven to 400. So now we're going to turn the oven on. I'm going to put it about medium, but about 1.5 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little drizzle of olive oil, not a lot. And we're going to let that melt a little bit, and then we're going to put the garlic and the onions in it. And I'm going to get that together real quick. Let me go this way. While I'm waiting on it, I'm just going to make it easy. I'm going to put the onions in my bowl, and I'm going to put some garlic in there too. And if you have fresh garlic, that's always better. Right now, I'm cheating. It's good, and it's quick. That's probably about 2 pods of garlic. It was like just a little pinch of it. So when this melts up, so now we're going to add this to it, and that is the onions and the garlic. And I'm going to add on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and add in the other vegetables. I'm going to go get those so they can get soft with it. I'm not going to add the peas because, I mean, they're frozen, but peas cook so fast, and they'll cook in the oven. So you don't really need them to soften up like you need. You really need the carrots, but you're looking for to get cooked. But you're looking for the mushrooms and the onions to kind of get translucent, which now we can't see the onions, but we can see the mushrooms. See how they look. We're going to add 1/3 cup of a flour to this, and we're going to cook it till it browns. It won't take long. It's not all brown, but it's getting there. Okay. So now it's looking mixed in. You can't really tell that the flour is brown, but it's mixed in. So we're going to add this. Right, while I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the turkey because that's the last thing. Now we're going to add this. This is a cup of chicken stock and 1/3 cup of milk. And we're going to cook this in here until it thickens. We're making basically the sauce. This is the sauce that goes in it. And it will, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit so it can help get it thick. When it's all thick, when we get a little gravy, then we will add the turkey and the peas to this. And then we'll be ready to put it in our pan and roll the top out to put on it. Now, I went ahead and made the dough before I started this because I just wanted to show you how to make this part of it. For the dough, you can either make it, which I can show you how. I will show you how to make dough at another time. But if you don't make it, you can buy the Pillsbury dough that's in the red carton because the way it rolls out. Because we're just going to put the dough on top, not underneath. You can with that. I've made it where I put the dough, make it like a pie, a two-crusted pie. Put the dough on the bottom and then put this in the middle and cover it up. The one we're making tonight, we're only putting a top on it. But if you buy that Pillsbury crust, it comes with two, and I would use it as a topper. I would use a top and a bottom if I had that. So you can look at this and see it thickening up. I'm putting it back on medium because it's getting thick. Doesn't that look yummy? Starting to look really thick and yummy. Now I think we're in good shape now to add the chicken. I mean, it can be chicken, but this is chopped up turkey and a cup of peas, and it's about it's 2 cups of turkey, all chopped up. The leftover turkey. I'm going to turn this down a little more because it's bubbling so much. So we're going to mix this all in. Our turkey has a lot of flavor. We smoked it, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of seasoning to it. You can add a little salt and pepper, more to it to get it seasoned nicely. I will go ahead and add a little salt and pepper to it, but I'm not going to add anything else. Now, doesn't that look yummy to put in the middle of a pot pie? Okay, while it's still on here, I'm going to go ahead and add some salt and pepper. Just pinch some on. Pinch some salt. That's all I'm going to do. Now, I've got it turned off, and I'm going to put it in our little casserole dish, a deeper dish. Yeah, I definitely, if you're doing the Pillsbury pie crust, I would definitely do a top and a bottom to it. Okay, now we're going to get out. I'm going to get out my pie crust that I've already got ready. I have to thaw it out a little bit more. I have to roll it out a little bit more. I've rolled it out partially and put it in the refrigerator. I've got it in wax paper. Actually, I was better off not to put it in the freezer because it was more pliable before. We're going to roll it out a little more, and putting the wax paper on top is kind of a little trick to help keep it from sticking to it. I'd already put a little flour underneath it, so it'll just pull up. And what I want to do, we're going to make it big enough to cover the top of this. And if you've noticed, I've got wax paper on the bottom, so that all I have to do is lift it up and put it over on it. But we want to make this a little more even. Now I'm going to, and if it's cracked a little bit and stuff, you can piece it together. Now I've got a little hole in there, but we want it to be able to breathe anyways. So I'm going to push it inside to the edge. Some of it you have to. Now, if you're crafty and you can make things pretty, you can use the extra pieces to make little cutouts and decorate it. I can cook, but I'm not good at making things pretty. So that's it. That's your pot pie right there. Okay, so now I have separated an egg yolk from the egg white, and we're just going to brush the egg white on the pastry. It just makes it sheen and be prettier. Okay, now we're going to put it in the oven. It's going to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then we'll have leftover turkey pot pie. Okay, the beeper's gone off 25 minutes, and it is looking really good. Look at it bubbling, and it's brown around the edges. The crust is brown. Crust could cook a little bit longer, but I think that is done because the edges are brown. Because a fresh crust just doesn't get as brown as whenever you, some of them just don't get as brown. That looks done. Doesn't that look yummy? So you can't say you're tired of turkey yet whenever you see leftover turkey made into something like that. Okay, let's serve this up. Look at that. And you got the crust on the top. So you got just enough crust with a lot of good inside. And just the right amount of meat. Let's get another plate here. And the crust is flaky too. Okay. Thank you for watching today, and I hope that you find ways to use your leftover turkey and that maybe you'll try this recipe. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel and like it if you like this recipe, and tell me what you used your leftover turkey for. Thanks. Bye.